The Dallas Mavericks are 5-5 on the season, starting off in a mediocre way, but Kyrie Irving is not. And that's who I want to talk about on today's One More Thing of the Locked On Mavs.
I'm here because I have to be.
Dallas is going to get a seat at the table.
That's it. It's me versus the machine. Don't let his whiteness take away from his quickness.
You can rest later. You're young.
I'm in a color here.
Wait. One more thing. Yeah, it's a one more thing because you are locked on the Dallas Mavericks. This is one of your co-hosts, Isaac Harris, longtime co-host of the show. Covering the Mavericks now in my 10th season. It's been a fun ride. It's been fun. The start of the season hasn't been the most fun, but you know what is fun? Watching Kyrie Irving play basketball, and that's what I want to talk about on today's show. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment below, like the show. But here's the thing I want you to leave as a comment. What is your favorite Kyrie Irving memory in Dallas so far? It doesn't have to be this season. It could be last season or maybe a little bit of that short stint there after he got traded, but probably not. What is your favorite Kyrie Irving memory so far in Dallas? If you want to support the show more and be even more locked in or, wait for it, locked on the Dallas Mavericks, then you can do that by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen. If you're watching on YouTube on audio, it's in the podcast description. You can click that link there, see our link tree, all the different ways. And one of those ways is through our subtext. This is where we text you updates about the Mavericks. Sometimes every day, whether it's injury stuff, game stuff, stuff that we're at games and we see, whether we're in Boston at the NBA Finals or in Dallas inside the arena, and we're like, hey, we got to tell you about this leak in the roof. You get updates through some text with that. And lastly, I just want to plug one more thing, and that is let me turn this music off. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I just want to say our free newsletter right now, we're number one in the NBA channel on Locked On as far as the most newsletter subscribers. Make sure you do that. It's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. So it's free. Sign up for it. You get one email a day. It sends you the show. It sends you show notes. It sends you past shows. It also sends you different articles written about the Mavericks from other websites and stuff. So anyway, make sure you do that. You can do that by scanning the QR code. Let's talk about Kyrie Irving. Because the first 10 games of the season so far for Kyrie has been incredible. It's been so much fun. And I get it. Like they have lost 5 games. They're 5-5. They're going to Golden State tonight. If you haven't listened to Nick already, Nick dropped an episode last night, a full episode, and heading into this Warriors game. Clay's return, all the stuff. Looks like they have some fun things planned for that. So it'll be an emotional game for him, for Warriors fans, and all the stuff. So he should be honored. It should be a lot of fun to watch, as long as the Warriors don't come out and just like throttle them. Say, yeah. But looking at Kyrie's starts of the season, you know, I shot out a tweet and I was like, dude, Kyrie started the season and people were like, the Mavericks have lost 5 games and what we suck and like all this stuff. It's like, all right, well, we can still talk about Kyrie Irving playing really good basketball, because I think he's having some of the best efficient basketball of his career so far. And these first 10 games have just been a blast. So first I want to rewind the tape just a little bit. Going back to the end of his Brooklyn tenure, it was kind of like, well, who wants Kyrie? They knew they were going to trade him. He wanted out. I mean, the whole ESPN studios across the nation was like, he's going to the Lakers, and all the different stuff. Nico Harrison in Dallas sees this opportunity to go and swing for a star that he has this past relationship with. Jason Kidd has this relationship with him. And when you talk to Mavs people around about the Kyrie Irving trade talks, or even when during that time, the word you always heard was relationships. We have this relationship with Kyrie. There's so many people in the building has these relationships with Kyrie. Mavericks obviously swing for it, right? They send Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, my guy, our guy, Nick too. Like we love this guy so much. First round pick, and you know they swing for it, and then everybody, you know, so many people come swooping in from the national media and just hating on this trade. All right, you know the infamous Kevin Pelton trade grade of giving the Mavericks a D in this trade. Incredible. Went back and read that. Actually went back before I recorded this or hit record and read a bunch of different trade grades at the time, or trade response pieces, giving the Mavericks a C. What are the Mavericks doing? You're wasting Luka's prime of his career. Who were you even bidding against for Kyrie? No one wanted him. All this stuff. And it's just like all this stuff. People were just so frustrated that the Mavericks swung for this and traded for Kyrie, and so convincing of themselves that this was going to crash and burn. And nothing was more confirmation bias for these people than when, after they trade for Kyrie Irving, then they have that final stretch of the season in which they really struggled, right? And they lost these games. And Kyrie and Luka hadn't barely played 10 games together, and people were writing these outlandish things. Can they work? Can they even work together on the basketball court? And I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is hilarious that people were just firing off these takes after we barely hit the double-digit amount of games. The Mavericks did not want to win too many games at the end of the season because it was a horrible season. In return, they get Derek Lively. And in the first season together on the basketball court, they go to the NBA Finals. Think about that for a second. The first full season that they have together, they go to the NBA Finals. Not just that. Sorry, Chuck. But that was not a lucky road to the finals, beating OKC, the number 1 seed, beating Minnesota, who was already anointed as this, like, oh my gosh, they're going to be the next team, and Anthony Edwards and all this stuff. They just embarrassed them in 5 games. Obviously, the Clippers in the first round had some injury stuff, but they still beat them. They went to the NBA Finals in the first year of Kyrie and Luka together. And I get it. Kyrie struggled in the finals a lot. We, get ready for this, talked to him at Media Day about that and about why he struggled in the finals. And he had this great answer, and Nick shared it and clipped it and posted on social media. And, people in Boston were even like, dude, this is, respect this. Like, this is a great answer, and all the different stuff. And after all of this first season and the success they had, it was still, after that first season, people still really did not want this to work and really wanted this to fail. And you started getting they got the perfect Kyrie season. There's no way they can get that again. Well, I mean, can he really duplicate what he did that first season in Dallas? Like, can you really duplicate what he did last year? Like, listen, there's all this, even off the court stuff. There's nothing off the court. There's nothing, all the stuff. And it was really like a great Kyrie season. There's no way he can have a better season. There's no way he can have the same season that he had last year. And that was kind of the talk with some people, I think that was like factored into why Dallas was kind of getting overlooked at the beginning of the season, or like going into the season, as like the team that actually went to the NBA Finals from the Western Conference. And I was pretty frustrated about that. I was kind of confused of like, why is Dallas not getting looked at or getting mentioned with some of these top teams in the West, that some of them that they like straight up just like embarrassed in the playoffs. And now they're kind of just like getting looked at as like a tier beneath those tiers or those teams. And it's because I think there's different reasons for it. But I think some people are like looking at this Kyrie situation like, dude, like that was a great year. There's no way it's going to be like that next year. And they were right, because he's been even better. Like, they were right that it's not just like Kyrie being at the same level that he was last year. You got it. You can have that take, because he's been even better at the start of the season. And I want to talk about that. Coming up after this, I want to do a quick break because we have to. And I want to come back. I want to talk about the start to the season for Kyrie. And yes, can we admit that we are frustrated at this current Mavericks team and some of the rotation stuff and Luka at times and all the different stuff. And we're 5-5. Why are we 5-5? We shouldn't be 5-5, and all the different stuff. I think you can be frustrated and also be like, dude, Kyrie's having an incredible start to the season, because at this current moment, Kyrie Irving is an all-star in the Western Conference. Let's do a quick break.
I don't believe you shouldn't be here.
This podcast is brought to you by Mint Mobile. With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. sometimes they throw those like hidden stuff in there and it really pisses you off. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. And all plans come with a high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And get this, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with you and your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer, your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. That's mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/lockedonnba. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on 3-month plan only. Speeds slower above 40 gigabytes on an unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. This podcast is also brought to you by our friends, our longtime friends at FanDuel. FanDuel, right now, if you go to FanDuel.com or sportsbook.fanduel.com, you can look up odds for the NBA Cup winner. So right now, the Celtics plus 400 to win the NBA Cup that's kicking off this week. And you go to the Group C in the Western Conference. That's the group the Mavericks are in. Once again, that's the Pelicans, Grizzlies, Warriors, and Mavericks. Right now, the Warriors. Oh, and the Nuggets. The Nuggets are plus 155 to win this whole group. Warriors at a plus 230 and the Mavericks at plus 310. So they have the third best odds to win this group here in the NBA Cup. And get this, if you're watching a cup game, I think one of the more cool things about this is right in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats on FanDuel.com, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page. When you place your bet, you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com.
Shut it down! Oh, let's go home!
Yeah. Music. Yeah. Let's go. One day, I'm getting better, right? I'm getting better. Leaving a comment thing. Say, hey, am I getting better or not? Or am I just telling myself? I'm getting better at the ads. It's those transitions into that music and all of that. That's what gets me. All right. Let's talk about Kyrie Irving starts of the season. Right now. So Kyrie puts up 43 points the other day, and just insane into that, that Denver game. I hate that they lost that game. So frustrating. And but he finished with 43. He has that stretch in the second half where he scores 10 straight points. And you're like, what is this? He's like legitimately a wizard out there pulling off some of these shots. Looks like Kyrie back in Cleveland days and all this stuff. And right now, these are some of the, you could look at a ton of numbers right now to look at the efficiency for Kyrie to start the season, but he's averaging 25 points a game. And check these shooting splits right here, 54% from the field and 55% from three. Let me repeat. He's shooting 54% from the field and 55% from three. You say, hey, Isaac, this is weird. I'm talking to myself, but if somebody's listening to this and they're in the car or they're on YouTube and they're like, hey, is that like good, or like how many players, like what's like the relationship to some other players that might be doing that? All right, cool. I'm glad you asked. I went on StatHead and I was like, you know what? Who are some players? Who are the players in the NBA who are shooting? Let's just drop the percentage a little bit. Who are shooting 50% from the field, and let's say 55% or 50% from three. So 50 and 50. And let's say you have to, you got to put a qualifier in there that you've like played a ton, or else you're going to get some random bench player that's shot like 2 shots. And so I put in there like 300 minutes, so far this season. There's two players in the entire NBA that's played over 300 minutes and is shooting at least 50% from the field and at least 50% from the 3-point line. You got it. Kyrie Irving is one of them. And the other one is Nikola Jokic. That's the only two players in the NBA are doing that. They played each other the other day on Sunday, and Nikola Jokic is best player in the world right now. So gives you a little taste of how good of a season Kyrie Irving is having so far. You also just like look across the board, some of his other shooting. His effective field goal percentage right now is 63%. I don't know what else to tell you besides that's just insane for a guard. The only players above him for the Mavericks right now are the bigs, Gafford Lively and Dwight Powell, who are shooting kind of right at the rim. So he is playing some incredible basketball. And he is not just the leader of this team as far as like the camaraderie and all, off the court, on the court type of leader. But he's also been the best Mavericks player so far this season. And I think that has contributed on a bigger scale that Luka needs to be the better Mavericks player for them to be the highest level in which they can reach. Now, in a perfect world, Luka's playing the best basketball he's playing, and we're getting the same Kyrie Irving, and then it's like supernova, and it's like, pow, like, whoa, like what type of basketball is this? This is crazy. But man, Kyrie Irving is playing some fun basketball right now. I mean, one of our board bets for the season, or crazy, like, I don't think it was a crazy take before the season, but I was like, I think Kyrie Irving's going to be an all-star this year in the Western Conference. And so right now, you can't tell me 12 players in the Western Conference are better than Kyrie Irving. And I want to say this too. I got asked the other day, I was in line where I was at this like dinner event, and this lady in front of me, she's like, "Hey, I know you do Maverick stuff. Do you ever get to talk to the players?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, every now and then. It's not like we're, just like in these like group texts and stuff." But whether it's, asking questions after the game or practice or media day and all this stuff, I was like, yeah, we get to talk to me every now and then. And she's like, "Who's your favorite player to talk to?" And this is always a common question that you get from family members or friends or acquaintances or whatever. And for the past year and a half, I've said like pretty quickly, it's Kyrie Irving. Like, Kyrie is my favorite player to talk to on the team, and he's just a blast to like cover. I realize past experiences on other teams might be different, but I can't speak to those. And I don't want to speak to, like, I didn't experience that. That wasn't my experience of a Kyrie Irving. My experience since Kyrie Irving has been in Dallas, to where I've gotten a small glimpse of being able to cover him and ask him questions and see how he interacts with his family, and this just what we see, from our perspective, which is, I mean, a small glimpse into his life, has been an awesome experience. And everybody I talked to around the Mavericks has just like glowing things to say about him as a leader with the team and everything. So it's been a blast. But the start to the season so far, mediocre start for the Mavericks as a whole or not, has been incredible for Kyrie. And for the people who think that he wasn't going to be the same Kyrie Irving, or he couldn't duplicate last year and all the different stuff, or there's no way he's going to be the same as he was last year on this team that made the finals run. I don't want to say you're wrong, because you're actually right. He's been much better, and he's been the Mavericks' best player. We'll see you tomorrow night post game as Mavericks take on the Warriors and Clay's return in Golden State. Go Clay. Hit like 10 threes tonight. Peace out. Boom.